This is Valley News Live at noon.
Get out your jackets and turn up the heat. The cold weather we've been warning you about has arrived. Let's get the latest from meteorologist Lisa Green. Lisa?
Well, good afternoon. We have our first of 3 first alert weather days today. And yes, it's because of that cold. And it was the wind as well that's still with us this afternoon. So here's a look at our temperatures right now. Beautiful fall view with the colors changing on our camera in Fargo. But temperatures are struggling here today. We're at 42 in Fargo and in Grand Forks, Jamestown as well. Only 40 in Bemidji, at 38 in Devils Lake, and Detroit Lakes is at 41. So remember yesterday how nice it was? We got to 77 in Fargo for our high. We'll get nowhere near that today. So a huge difference, and that change can be a little tough to take here. We're looking at our radar and satellite map. You can see that we've got no snow to show you, but that doesn't mean we're not experiencing some flurries again downwind from some of those open lakes. We've seen some of that already on some of our DOT cams earlier this morning, and that could be happening again with that north wind, cold north air flowing over those lakes that are still relatively warm and still open this time of year. So again, conditions are going to be on the partly cloudy side and on the cooler side. So here's a look at our planner for today. Expect to have temperatures that struggle to warm up. So we'll stay in those 40s, a high of about 45, partly cloudy skies, winds that are northerly in the teens, gusts into the 20s into the evening hours tonight. But once we get into the nighttime, we'll see that wind really start to quit. We will start clearing out as well. And by 9 or 10 o'clock, rather, we'll have temperatures in the 30s in Fargo, and it just keeps going down from there. So looking at some chilly weather ahead for tonight. A freeze warning is in effect for the James River Valley, our very southern counties as well, included in this starting late tonight through tomorrow morning. The Grand Forks office National Weather Service office in Grand Forks is no longer issuing frost and freeze headlines for this season, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see freezing weather as well. And we're going to talk more about just how low those temperatures will go coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Well, it sounded good and then it didn't, Lisa.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, right. All right, thanks. North Dakota State Crime Lab is working to identify a man whose body was found in a rural area of Ward County. Sheriff's officials say the man whose body was found on October 1st south of Minot was likely dead for 6 weeks. There was no ID on him, and the man does not match any current missing persons in the area. A motorcycle driver remains in serious condition after being hit by a dump truck in South Fargo. It happened yesterday afternoon on 52nd Avenue. There's no update from police on the driver's injuries, but friends say the motorcyclist was undergoing his second surgery this morning. Friends also said this is his second crash he's been in less than a month, and says just 2 weeks ago he was hit from behind on 13th Avenue. Police say the driver of the dump truck was ticketed for failing to yield. A Minnesota man is going to prison for 10 years for assaulting a child on the White Earth Indian Reservation. 30-year-old Edward Fairbanks intentionally shoved the child into a table, causing a serious head injury in June of 2020. Court documents say the child needed skull surgery and also had burn marks and drugs in her system. Breaking news this Thursday morning, police in Thailand say more than 30 people have been killed in a gun and knife attack at a child care center. And police say the person responsible is a former cop. Police say the gunman forced his way into a locked room where children were sleeping and killed at least 22 of them. There's no word on a motive, but media reports indicate the man was recently fired from his job. Police say the suspect killed himself and his own family after leaving the child care center. New this morning, North Korea launched 2 suspected ballistic missiles this morning, one landing in the Sea of Japan and the other in North Korea. It comes just 2 days after the North fired another missile that flew over Japan. After that launch, the U.S. announced the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan would return to waters east of South Korea. The Biden administration is weighing its options after OPEC Plus said it's cutting oil production in order to boost prices. Prices that will have a direct effect on filling up your vehicle and heating your home as we head into winter. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
The White House is expressing dismay at the decision by OPEC Plus to reduce its output.
OPEC's decision to cut production's quotas is short-sighted, while the global economy is dealing with the continued negative impact of Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
On Wednesday, the energy cartel announced it was lowering production by 2 million barrels a day, its biggest cut since the start of the pandemic.
We are not endangering the energy markets. We are providing security, stability to the energy markets.
OPEC officials described the reduction as a hedge against falling demand due to a recession.
Everything has a price. Energy security has a price as well.
OPEC's cut goes into effect in November, raising the prospect of gas prices spiking, costing consumers more to heat their homes and at the gas pump in the days leading up to the midterm election. To counter the reduction, President Biden is expected to order the release of up to 10 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But that would only provide temporary relief for consumers.
It's ridiculous.
It wastes a lot of money now.
Everything's more expensive.
The Wall Street Journal reports that the Biden administration may be willing to lift some sanctions against Venezuela to allow it to resume oil exports. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The national average for regular gas is up 7 cents since last week. Coming up at noon, how inflation is affecting one fall tradition. But next, we'll have your weather to plan your day.